Welcome back to the Upper Tier Podcast, the football podcast we bring you each and every week on the Dynamo Podcast Network. Head over to YouTube, smash that subscribe and bell notification button. Audio versions of the show are available on Anchor. And as always, if you want to contact the show, Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram is the place to be. Also joining me today, our European correspondent on the Upper Tier, basically. Craig, how you doing, my man?
Don't know what job he is.
I tell you, big time. I said I'd bring you on. We're going to take a look at the Europa League final, but we're going to take a look at the road to Gdansk for Villareal. And I thought no better than you to come on and talk about this, because you've been talking to me about Villareal basically since last October, and you had pinned your flag to Villareal in the Europa League right from day one. So tell us, give us a bit of a background to it. How did you pick Villareal?
There's a number of reasons. Obviously, if you're not really a European fan, you could still probably give Villareal a show and such, because Unai Emery has such a distinct relationship with the Europa League, as you probably know yourself. You know, it's not just the Villareal itself. You have to take the behind the curtains. You know, Sevilla have been, I think it's the last 3 of 4. They've won. Or they've been there. I think it's the last 3. They knocked us out in the final as well. But Unai Emery seems to have like a love relationship with the competition itself. You know, he has his teams very well set up. They go full strength, as some other teams tend not to, because they kind of see it as like, Thursday. I don't really know about that. But he takes it completely serious, as does the clubs he's been with. Sevilla, obviously, numerous time winners, and now we have Villareal and Arsenal got to the final under Emery as well, Europa League. Villareal are now in the same seat. It's not a coincidence at all. He fully believes in European competition, and that's the European competition for him. You know, that's the competition that his teams are in. If we strip it down a bit to the Villareal team, the core is very good, as in it's all Spanish based. He's fluent Spanish. He's managed in La Liga numerous times. The players are based in La Liga, majority of them anyway. So I imagine communication is very simple, very easy. Tactics must be completely understandable. And then if the odd player in there, like a bit of a strange one would be Etienne Capoue from Watford is in there. But he settled in like, efficient water. He settled in beside Parejo, used to sign for Valencia. And they just kind of go about their business. There's no real star. I'd say Gerard Moreno has had a breakout season up front. But that goes without saying. Everyone works for the team. There's no like mega star who, if this lad plays, they're going to go places. They all have jobs. They all hunt down in packs. They all are relentless chasing the ball. If you watch Emery when Villareal don't have the ball, he's roaring, press, obviously in Spanish. They hunt in numbers, and they're not happy when they don't have the ball. And I've seen that with his team at Sevilla. I think if Arsenal give him the benefit of the doubt over a longer time, we might have seen him with Arsenal, a bit of fight, a bit of hunger, a bit of intensity. But who knows? But I'm really happy that, when you obviously make an opinion and a suggestion, you pin your name to the team, like that they got to the final, and I'm very happy for them. It's going to be a great game, and if they beat United, it'd be amazing for the club. But obviously, United probably go in favourites, rightly so, after the kind of road that they've had, respectively.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting when you look how the season went for Villareal in terms of the Europa League. I mean, until you kind of get, from the round of 32 onwards, they've been the underdogs. But if you look at the group, the group was Villareal, Maccabi, Sivasspor, and Qarabag.
So offense to the other teams, you would expect 100% straight away Villareal are topping the group. So now, what did you say there about the 32? You said underdogs there. So
once they came out of the group, most of the ties or most of the draws that they were in, they kind of look like the underdog in it. But you always said to me every time, there's always goals in the game, and so long as there's goals in the team, then you're not going to have a problem in the Europa League. If you look at the way, go ahead. No, go on.
They're very trustworthy of each other. As in the goals are shared out. As I said, Gerard Moreno's had a breakout season up front, but the goals come in midfield from Trigueros has chipped in with a goal. Chukwueze on the wing, the Nigerian young lad who looks like he's going to be an absolute baller. I don't know if he's okay. He did get stretched off against Arsenal. Paco Alcacer had a bit of a stint at Barcelona. It didn't go well, but he's had to rejuvenate himself also in the Villareal team as well. Danny Parejo controls the midfield. Everyone has a job. You go back to the back line. Raul Albiol, former Valencia, I think as well, centre half, is back there. Pau Torres is coming through. But Justin what's his name? One Fight is on loan from Tottenham, and he's actually the wing back. There's a good balance. There's no superstar or one person outshining the other. There's a nice kind of balance throughout the side. And being underdogs as well, my mind never changed each round. I felt that they could score and they smelled blood,
Yeah, well, if you go back and look at the group stage before we come down into the round of 32 and all, in the group stage, they'd 6 matches. They won 5 and drew 1 against Maccabi, 16 points. So they were qualified pretty early in it as well. Maccabi were second in the group with 11 points. So, you could probably say nearly 3 games in, they had 3 wins under their belt and they had already qualified at that stage when you look at the quality that's in there.
They still wouldn't rest. Like Emre is like complete serious and, professional, as in they didn't kind of go full rotation after that. They kind of just, kept the sync going.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think it's kind of a trait with the Europa League as well, isn't it? That it really doesn't start until the round of 32 because the groups are kind of a little bit there is a massive gulf in talent when you look at the way the groups are set up in the Europa League, because you could have, and I know obviously Champions League teams fall down into it eventually as well, but I mean the group stages themselves, you have like the haves and the have-nots really when you look at it, and you rarely get surprises,
teams that are there sadly to fill a place in some leagues, no disrespect to them, but what I mean?
Yeah, and they do pick up teams like you're talking about, potentially third or fourth place teams in some of these countries, that aren't necessarily, wealthy countries and stuff like that. So, but they're putting out football and teams and football and clubs, So we go into the round of 32 and obviously, they draw Salzburg, who are a very good team.
That's that in itself is like if Villareal had it went out, people would probably not be surprised, to be honest. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and they got a great away win. They kicked it off with a great away win, 2-0 win at Salzburg, which really probably put them through at that stage, because it's a task to pull that kind of thing back, and then they finished out the second leg with a 2-1 win, so a 4-1 aggregate win against Salzburg, which really laid down a marker when you think about it, because Salzburg are a good club, there's no doubt about it.
It's hard to go and get one away goal and a clean sheet, never mind a 2-0 away when you bite your hand off with Salzburg,
Yeah, so then they move into the round of 16 and it's Dynamo Kiev.
A dodgy one again in its own right, I think.
But again, away win, 2-0 again, clean sheet. And again, you kept on reminding me all through these stages, they score goals and they don't give a whole lot away. And that has to be a winning formula. And then they get the 2-0 away win at Dynamo Kiev and then a 2-0 home win. So it's a 4-0 aggregate win and they go through into the quarterfinals, if you like. Now,
it's nearly like a pattern.
Absolutely. Now, we would have expected them in the quarterfinals to draw Tottenham. But they didn't draw Tottenham because Tottenham
and that's
shit.
When I got worried, to be honest.
Because Tottenham shit the bed. Well, you shouldn't have worried because you would have got that kind of North London derby flavour really with Emery, No,
I worried about Zagreb had taken a massive scalp, and they have some decent little. There's a fella called Orisic who tore Tottenham to shreds, a Croatian young lad. Yeah. But the feeling I got was our Villareal. Now I should have known better. They're not going to overlook teams anyway. But imagine the boost Zagreb got from coming back alone. Yeah. Nearly out of it altogether against one of the top teams in England. One of the favourites probably to win the Europa League under Jose.
The interesting stat I see through the round of 32 to the 16 to the quarters to the semis is they never conceded an away goal in all those rounds, which is it's outstanding.
I did say about the balance. They have enough to go forward, but they also Parejo, Capu in there, break and play ahead. And what I said about hunting in packs, if you actually watch them, it's not like, the back line will deal with that, or if Parejo misses it, then it's the back line to deal with. They hunt in numbers. They're tenacious. They're vicious. And it is, as you said rightfully, a winning formula. Like, there's a togetherness that Emery has created. And it seems like he has done it with Sevilla. He's done it with... I do think, who knows what would have happened with Arsenal, but it is what it is. Villareal, you see 2 or 3 of them coming in like triangles, darting in, closing, and they want the ball back as soon as they don't have it.
Yeah, the interesting stat as well when you look from the round of 32 on the road to the final is they conceded a goal at home in every round as well. They didn't concede when they were away, and they conceded 1 goal in each of their home ties. when they were at home. So it's mad. It just goes to show
It's a
you
bit
how
of
they.
a strange one. And the good thing I think about that stat though is if they concede the goal at home, they don't seem to like bottle it, and they don't seem to cave in. Like, you know, here we go, an away goal gone in against us.
Yeah,
They seem to have a bit of steel and a bit of grit to get,
yeah.
you know, manage the games.
Well, they probably know they're going to pick up a few goals at home, so they don't panic in any way. And plus, when they've really done the business in the away leg, it's not really an issue. I mean, Moreno's outstanding, but as you said, they function as a unit and as a team, and they work hard for each other, which is great to see.
Yeah, I think there can be some big moves for some of those, like Chukwueze on the wing and Parejo. But it's everybody, you know. It's a collective. It's a collective thing. It's not like if Moreno scores, they might have a chance, you know. Trigueros has chipped in with a goal against Arsenal, I believe, as well. Like, you know, it's collective.
Yeah. So then we move on to the semi-finals, and we get the good evening semi-final.
My mind, you know, my mind was still not changed. You know,
so
this is completely.
This is Unai Emery, and he beats the team that knocked Tottenham out, and then he draws Arsenal. I mean, we couldn't have wrote this any better when you think about it.
Couldn't have made it.
So first leg over in Villareal, they win 2-1.
Yeah. So they should have seen. They should have seen that game out. I watched it myself. I know a lot of people probably was watching the United one. Yeah. I was just watching Villareal because of the interest of playing like his former team, and Villareal was the team I had wanted to win it. They got the early goal. I think it was Trigueros who got the goal. But then, weirdly enough, Villareal kind of set off Arsenal and let them play a bit of ball when they should have really went for the kill, which they would have usually done. You know, they kind of let Arsenal get a bit of a grasp of the game, and 2-1 didn't flatter Villareal. I watched the game myself, to be honest. I think they'd be disappointed, to be honest, with the 2-1 result in the end of that leg.
Yeah, so then they moved on to the Emirates then, where Arsenal only needed a goal to go through and couldn't get that done. They were so poor that night.
Yeah, it didn't feel like there was any urgency, to be honest with them. You know.
Yeah, you got the feeling that like Villareal just professionally managed the game through, didn't really have to do a whole lot.
They didn't go mad, like they didn't go, you know, hunting for that away as they previously did. You know, they were pretty satisfied.
Yeah, well, they knew Arsenal were going to come onto them because Arsenal did have to get a goal, so they knew Arsenal were going to come onto them. But they sat back, they weathered it, and they knew that they had a bit more in the tank if Arsenal had have got a goal. I still believe if Arsenal had got a goal, I still think Villareal would have got an away goal anyway. I think they would have pushed on if they had to.
Yeah. I said a score draw. I was thinking a 1-1, 2-2 myself, but like 0-0, happy days. And now we're on to Gdansk.
Off to Gdansk, so...
fair play to them, you know, like all credit to Man United as well for, you know, you still have to get there, you still have to weather your storm, you have to do your legs, you know. But Villareal, like, I'd be absolutely delighted for them. I'd be delighted for some of my mates if United win a fair play to them, then they deserve it. But fair play to Villareal for, you know, getting there. And if they win it, I really hope that it's a game that they deserve to win, as in they put in a performance and United can't deal with them. We don't know yet, you know, we don't know.
Yeah. So you're sticking
what
with your are you sticking with your pick?
I'm completely sticking with my pick. I'm gonna say 2-1 Villareal. What do you think, Niall, yourself, looking in from your aspect of the Europa League in general, and how you feel about the teams and how it's set up and everything? How do you feel?
Well, I think United. I think, you know, United they've had a tough path to the final as well with AC Milan and Roma, so they have played good teams.
They've had to get through some games, you know, as well.
Absolutely, and managed their way through. But I think United are in a very good vein of form at the moment. I think they're professional in the way that they're going about their business. I think Ollie has a couple of players there actually humming at the moment.
And they've gotten past that semi-final voodoo, which will be massive for them as well.
Yeah, I think it will be tough for Villareal to stop United scoring. It's whether Villareal would have enough. I would think, I'm going to go for a draw. And then it's very hard. Yeah. And then I don't know. I think this one might go. I think Villareal might be able to grind it as far as penalties. And then it's a lottery.
I think Villareal might need the first goal, to be completely honest with you.
Yeah.
To give them a chance. I don't know about coming back and, you know, opening up against United is a good thing to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. But I don't know. I'm not sure whether Villareal would have enough to weather the storm that they did against Arsenal. against United, because
Yeah,
I think United have a bit more nous and a bit more cleverness about them and stuff like that. And then when you have players there like Cavani and stuff like that, I mean, he just needs a sniff of a moment. You know
but
what I
they
mean?
can hurt anybody, regardless of Europa League or Champions. You know, that team would hurt anyone really. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So I'm kind of
I'm very intrigued though.
yeah,
Very intrigued. You know?
It is. I mean, both European finals this year are very intriguing.
Yeah.
But then it probably wouldn't shock me if Villareal went out and won 3-1 or something like that. You know what I mean? It's
It's a
one of
single
those
leg.
things.
It's a one-off game. You know.
Yeah, it's a one-off game, and the thing about Emery as well is he doesn't give away a whole lot. You never really know what you're gonna get. You know, with him, like he could go out there and get the team to put on a performance, or he could go out there and sit back to try and frustrate United, and work through them one way or another. But
his cards are close to his chest. You know, he
Yeah.
does a lot of. We can tell he does a lot of work on the opposition, though, as the results have shown.
Yeah, I'm sort of thinking I'm leaning towards not a lot of goals, and I'm kind of leaning towards maybe United by the odd goal or else penalties. That's what I'm thinking. And if it goes to penalties, then it's a lottery. But wouldn't it be mad if we went to penalties and Bruno was the last penalty and he missed? Imagine after the season he's had with penalties and stuff like that. Well, it'd be crazy, you know.
I'm interested to see how Moreno can, if he can, how he threatens United, how they attack as a unit, how they defend as a unit. I'm interested also to see. I don't know. I'll have to check on Chukwueze. He did get stretchered off against Arsenal. I have no idea if he's okay, but he'd be a massive loss, you know.
I suppose the other pressure there as well is, okay, you have United there with Ollie who want to win a trophy, you know, they want to get a bit of silverware. They've gotten over the semi-final, who do, as you said. But they're not reliant on it in terms of a Champions League spot because they probably have their Champions League spot sorted. But Villareal would be heavily relying on winning the competition to get into the Champions League.
They're out, they're out,
They're outside of the top four in Spain, you know. So there's a lot of pressure on Emery there. One, to deliver the title that he loves so much, and two, to cement the Champions League spot for Villareal next season. Whereas United,
I think,
so that's extra pressure there, you know.
I think, you know, going into that game as a player, you know, they must be thinking, though, this manager has the blueprint for this. You know, we can actually do this. Like, as in, the confidence he must get from winning previous. Like, lads, I've been here before. I've done it before. You know, trust me. Yeah. I know it's Man United. I know they're one of the best teams in England, but they must get such a lift from now on. Like, this fella's been here, lads. You know, we could get a medal out of this, you know.
Yeah, I suppose you're looking at on the pitch, you're looking at the experience of United versus the inexperience of Villareal. But in management, you're looking at the experience of Emery, who's been there, done that, wrote the book, and Ollie's kind of first rodeo, if you like, you know what I mean, in terms of trying to steal a bit of silverware for United. It's a very
interesting story, like, and, you know, there's a lot of like contrasts and there's a lot of like, you know, what could be, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think the first goal is gonna, let's see, you know, whoever gets, if there is a first goal, how does the other team kind of combat that? How did he feel? How did he approach that? You know, that kind of way.
Well, you see, United this year are the masters of the comeback, because every time they've gone down 1-0 even at half time, they've come back to win 2 or 3-1.
You
know, I think what were they saying there? They've won, is it 18 points or something like that from losing positions this season? You know what I mean? It's massive.
Like that's like nearly Premier League form in itself. You know what I mean?
So maybe on the night we want United to score first.
Maybe Jared Moreno and then 3-1 United or something that happened or something like.
But definitely an intriguing final. We look forward to it. No doubt we'll have you on. We'll get the match reaction after the match that night anyway.
I'll either be saying good evening or I'll be saying hard luck.
Or good evening or not such a good evening.
Not such a good evening.
Yeah. But Craig, as always, a pleasure having you on, our European correspondent on the Upper Tier podcast.
Cheers,
this is Villareal's Road to Gdansk preview, and we will talk to you again real soon. Cheers, mate.
See you there.